Welcome to Caravan of GLAM presents on KPQR LP Portland, Wild Planet Radio.
Hey, it is Justin with the Caravan of GLAM presents. We don't know what day it is, but we are in the studio with Don Newton.
Hey, everybody.
And our guest host this week, Danny Ward.
Hello, you.
We're going to raise the roof, right, Danny?
I'm raising the roof right now as we speak.
You can't see her, but she is.
I'm raising it.
All right.
And I have my snacks and I'm ready to go, so
We'll be right back.
let's do it.
Hey, this is Patrick from Eastside Strength and Performance. You are tuning in to the Caravan of GLAM presents on KPQR 99.1 FM or streaming live on wildplanetradio.com.
Hi, welcome back. This is Vivica Valentine with Caravan of GLAM presents on Wild Planet Radio 99.1 FM, streaming at wildplanetradio.com.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is the Caravan of GLAM presents. I'm your host, Don Newton.
And I'm J-Boo.
And I'm Danny Ward.
She's our special co-host today. We have a special guest in studio with us also. We have Justin Pavolati.
Hey, go hey.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
I did, from the Q Center. What is your title at the Q Center?
So I'm the one of the executive co-directors, and I do development and community relations. So partnerships and communications and all that good stuff, and fundraising.
So the boss, one of the bosses.
One of the bosses.
You're the one that keeps the flow flowing.
Sure. And then Stacey Rice is my executive co-director, and she does operations and programs.
So what is the Q Center?
Yeah, so we're a community center. We're an LGBTQ community center, and we're based in Portland. We're a drop-in space for lots of different groups. We have over 25 affinity groups, so they're peer-led groups that come in and somebody from the community says, I want to do a support group, or I want to do a gay gamers night. Or we have a group called Rainbow Babies, and they're queer parents with babies. And so on Monday mornings, there's just like a play date, a giant play date in the morning.
We should just
really
go
cute.
show up there.
Let's go next
Can we
week.
hold your babies?
Yeah.
Just push me in a
Just
stroller.
give them back.
Push me in a
This
stroller.
is my baby, J-Boo.
It'll work.
Just
He's
shave.
my baby.
He's just really hairy.
We'll just put a mask on him.
We can
He's
do it.
scared. He doesn't want to be seen.
Put a bonnet and a diaper.
I'm down.
You would look so cute. With your knees up to your chest.
I'm flexible.
It's
Hey, that works.
Oh, my God.
all you have to do is take a turn.
He just derails us so
Yeah.
much. It's just not even funny. So how long has the Q Center been around? When did that get established?
I think in 2003. I started last year, June in 2015. But we a little more about the space. We have a gallery. We have a library. It's the biggest library on the West Coast, I've been told by our volunteer librarians. And then we have an auditorium and lots of different meeting spaces.
Wow, how big is the space?
It's pretty big. It looks small from the outside because it's all like brown, but it's close to 6,000 square feet. And
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, we have 5 different organizations that rent office space within us, like PFLAG Black Chapter, Gay PDX, Pride Northwest is there, the Equi Institute is there. They're a queer and trans focused health clinic. So they're community led and serve community. So they're pretty awesome.
So it's pretty much an open door.
Yeah. So we're open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. It's drop in anytime. There's lots of groups going on, so you can check our calendar on pdxqcenter.org. But there's also Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, and places just to hang out and do your work.
So it's a great resource support.
Mm-hmm. And then we're
area.
open on the weekends too, but just different hours.
That's pretty cool. So what about some of the youth programs?
So a lot of our youth programs went to when I started in June of 2015. I was coming on during a restructure, and so in January-ish of 2015, the primary youth program was SMERC, and they migrated over to New Avenues for Youth, which has been such an awesome fit for them. And we still work with them and do events and everything. But so they live there now. And then our youth, we don't have like a concrete youth program per se, but when youth from the community need space or want to run a program, they're we welcome them in.
So do you work with some of the gay straight alliances? Do we have those in our schools here in Portland?
Yeah, we do. So we also have, one of our programs is called ERA, Encouraging Respect on Aging, and we have around 250 monthly participants. We have a program manager for that, and it's 55 and older. Susan Cosen's our program manager for ERA, and she's been working with GSAs, local GSAs, to like bridge the intergenerational gap. And so she had this awesome program last year that had Irvington's GSA. There was like 28 middle schoolers came and partnered up with 5 of her senior participants, and they just exchanged stories throughout the year and ended on like this awesome presentation. And the kids wrote stories about the ERA participants and did like a presentation to the group. And
That's really cool.
That is
cool, yeah.
so cool.
yeah.
So what are some of the needs that you're seeing in the community? Like, who is coming to the Q Center?
Yeah, so we have a lot of transplants who were their first stop, and they need resources. So we have a information and referral program. It's our INR program. It's like Queer 211. And so we have a pretty big database of LGBT competent providers, businesses, and stuff like that. And people call in and say, I'm in Medford. Who can I go to the doctor? Where can I go see a trans-friendly doctor? We have people from LeGrand calling, and people moving to the state call. So a lot of people come in. We see a lot of houseless folks who need a place to hang out in their community. And
So the Q Center services Portland and beyond. It sounds like the entire state.
yeah, so we're a drop-in center for Portland. We're like Portland's queer living room. And then for the state, we answer calls throughout the year. I think last year we had over like 7,000 calls.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we have lots of volunteers. We couldn't stay open without our volunteers 7 days a week, and they answer all those calls. And yeah.
Don't you have an office in Astoria, or is that separate?
No, they're separate.
Okay.
They're our friends, but they're the Q Center of the Lower Columbia is I think their official name. They're a Facebook group, and they have a space in the community center there, like the big rec community center.
So is the Q Center, is it affiliated with any of the municipalities, like the city or county resources, or is this standalone? It's its own?
Yeah, we're standalone. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We work with county. We met with Chair Kafori this morning just to give an update on what we're doing, but we're not like funded by the county right now.
What can the community do to help the Q Center?
Well, we do. We love to partner with organizations and people. If you want to do an event or something, we're totally great hosts. And then we have like our annual gala in October. It's going to be a brunch. It's not going to be at Q Center, but that's going to be at the Marriott by the waterfront. That'll be our big fundraiser. It's going to be pay as you can, so everyone can come. But we're working on that. And then in August, we were approached by the the Publishers Equality Association or something like that. That
They know who you're talking about.
Melanie Davis is the president of that. And it's a national association for equality publishers. And they're having their conference in August. And they're going to have, for one of their events, is going to be a fundraiser for the Orlando Center and a joint fundraiser for Q Center. So the ED from Orlando is going to be the keynote speaker. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be August 18th, I think. And we're working on a space for
Be
that.
out of town. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I can't go, but I'll pass it around.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. What does this work mean to you?
Oh, and personally, I wasn't expecting that.
Get out here's a tissue.
No. For me, I grew up in rural California in Eureka, California. Like the county seat is 26th. Caravan.
We know a lot
Yeah,
of the
you all
same
know.
people.
Yes. And so for me, it's a way to make a difference and be connected, and for me, it's my, because I have so many different privileges, is like I can be visible and still feel safe. And I think it's my duty to do that. And it's not always fun work. It's pretty tiring work, but it's really empowering and extremely rewarding when things like Orlando happen, and then the community pulls together and has a vigil that's extremely moving and reminds us why we're family, or why we're chosen family. And I think we can do powerful things together. So it's pretty meaningful to me.
Sounds like pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you see in Portland? Like, how are we doing? What's the temperature of the support, the community?
Yeah, I think everyone wants to be helpful. I don't, there's people do still get like gay bashed, especially during Pride Month, which is really
Fleet Week.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, all of June, really. That's the worst month.
Yeah.
June. Just weird.
So
But we all feel a little more carefree during that time too. I think
we're
we open our we're all out.
It's true.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done with trans competency for employers. Like, a lot of employers have non-discrimination policies, but it's, what does that really mean? How are people being accepting in the workplace? How do they get that training? So I think there's a lot of resources that exist that just need to be connected with folks. Like, part of your HR practice is trans competency or LGBTQ competency, right? There's always those refreshers that employers have around sexual harassment that they always have to do, typically. And so why not add that in, right? So there's lots of cultural pieces that have to be done. There's a lot of regular issues that need to be dealt with in our community, so like racism and classism and all the economic empowerment. We need systems for people to be able to transplant here, or if they do and they're homeless or jobless, then they need a way to be empowered that way. So
do you do any type of outreach or an education piece to some of those HR departments? Is that happening?
We're not equipped to do that, but we do work with people like Layla Hale at PFLAG Black Chapter, who does do that.
Shout out to Layla.
Yay. Nola Young, who used to work at Q Center, but is one of our advisory board members. They do that as well. So we know some of the trainers, and when employers request that, we get that question a lot, and so we connect them as much as we can. It's part of that referral program that we have.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And so if people want to learn more information about it, Justin, where would they go?
They can go to our website if they don't have Facebook. I would think Facebook's better because we update that more often. They can stop in, they can email for a coffee, and I'm happy to sit down with folks.
That's pretty cool. What's your advice to the youth? I mean, we talk about that quite a bit here on Caravan of GLAM, and Caravan of GLAM, they do a lot of outreach for the youth, providing that support. What's your advice to the youth in the community?
Always be your own advocate. So if you need something, find a way to say it out loud to someone. Always, coming from rural town USA, I was always having to look at my resume, what do I need to do to get to the next step? And either volunteering somewhere or trying to get a job and then doing well in that job so that I could, get paid more and get a raise to transfer to a different job. So always be your own advocate and try and ask for what you need when there's someone around.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So again, Facebook is a page to go to for the Q Center. That's not short for anything.
No.
It's just the letter Q, Center. Mm-hmm. And then is the website?
pdxqcenter.org. And when I started, I was like, why is it PDX Center? And I'm like, there's other Q Centers in the United States.
Where is the Q Center located?
Great question. We're 4115 North Mississippi Avenue.
And what are the hours?
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, 10 to 6 p.m. and Sunday, 10 to 9 p.m.
So it's a place that somebody could come to with any type of question, any type of support that they're needing, some direction.
Yep, we have bathrooms, we have a kitchen, we have sofas to hang out on with Wi-Fi.
Bring your events there.
Yep.
You can use their space for your event.
That's awesome.
We have rentals too, so if you're a business and you just need to get out of the office for a staff meeting or something, it's pretty cheap. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming in. I hope you'll come back.
Totally. Okay. I'll be on time next time.
Oh my gosh.
You were on time.
You were on time. Hey. Yes, totally fine. All right. This is the Caravan of GLAM Presents. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is the Caravan of GLAM Presents on Wild Planet Radio. You've got myself, Dawn Newton.
Lil J Boo.
And Danny Ward.
Danny Ward's our co-host. We've adopted her.
Finally.
She's finally. She has a home. And our special guest in studio comes back. We begged and said, please come back. Darcelle 15 is here.
I came back.
You did.
Thank you.
Bad penny. Or bad $20 bill. That's better than
That's, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good afternoon.
86 years young?
85.
85.
Don't rush him.
Well,
I mean, I don't mind saying 85. I'm not going to 86 until November.
okay, because I knew
this year.
1930, so I was doing the math. I wasn't sure where we were. November
yeah.
what?
16th.
Oh,
A Wednesday night.
little Scorpio.
The worst kind.
The best worst
Bite yourself first.
Oldest performing drag queen
Yes.
west of the Mississippi. Am I
In
getting
the
that
world,
right?
I think.
In the world, yes.
Well, the Guinness,
Sure, make it big.
Guinness Book of World Records too. We got to challenge that. Or has that been corrected?
It's already been set in,
Nice.
but they don't. I don't think they don't say anything until September.
Okay.
So
Still
hopefully
performing.
nobody ages
Yeah,
quickly.
the governor wrote a little note saying that I was still working, and the mayor, and
That's so cool.
for what it's worth.
Are they like in your phone? Can you just call them and just say, "Hey, can you send a note for me?"
Mm-hmm.
The governor and the mayor. He's serious.
No, I do.
I don't doubt it.
I don't have them in my pocket, but I can communicate with them. They'll take my calls. How about that?
Darcelle, line 5 on the red phone.
You're in his pocket.
No. They'll take my calls.
That's all he's going to say about it.
I love having politicians because I love the way they function. You know, first of all, they have to always be campaigning.
Right.
You know, I mean, especially like our legislation, it's every 2 years. So they're in session 2 years and they're out again unless they spend that time campaigning, raising money and the whole thing. It's kind of interesting to, they're always looking around.
Yeah.
Nonstop. That lady's got a big diamond. Hi.
Ooh, will you be my friend, girl?
You write a little check for my campaign. No, that
This is
why-
fake. No, just kidding.
that isn't why. No, usually I get along fine with them, and I appreciate what they do. It's a thankless job.
Do they ask you for your input?
I've given my input, but no, maybe once or twice, just about.
They'll always accept your check.
The things that are involving our community.
I mean, you've been very instrumental in that as well.
In our community.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
You're still performing 6 shows a week.
Right.
6?
6.
Yeah.
And sometimes Sundays if we have a special show. That's what keeps it going. I mean, I ask all the time, is there a cough button? Big time places have cough buttons. But you know what I do? I cough anyway without pushing it, just to make them crazy in the control room. Okay. So
Now I have to cough.
yeah, I know. So my involvement came from thanking the Portland area, and now everybody in the world knows who we are because of social media. It's wonderful. But and so that's when I started getting involved. Was if I was asked by a nonprofit to do something that would sell a ticket, I'd go. I still do that.
Well, you've been called an ambassador in an institution.
People are locked up in institutions, but I don't mind. Yes, and you know, if I believed my own publicity, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'm serious. People, I don't see how. In just my notoriety is, you know, rather local but I can't believe that if you were a star, how could you read your own publicity and believe it?
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start believing it, you're not the same person. And I appreciate hearing these things, but if I went to bed thinking about them and waking up thinking about them and maybe even dreaming about them, I wouldn't be the same person. And I want to be a person. I don't want to be a institution.
I mean,
Well, that's how Portland has portrayed
I know,
you.
and I totally appreciate it. It was never a plan, you know. It wasn't a plan that I'm going to be this, and this, and do this, and this, and this. It was never a plan. We opened the club. We had $5,000. I bought the bar.
Was that Dima's
Tavern. We bought the tavern. We were a lesbian bar for a long time because our gay men friends would not come across Burnside because it was bums and winos and. I mean, much safer now than it was then. I mean, they were.
You couldn't be down there past dark.
But you could but they didn't realize because winos by 8 o'clock in the morning are back to laying down dead, sleeping. So
that was a safe space.
And of course now we're entertainment district, and it's exciting that part of it's exciting, but never a plan. We finally I had to pay the rent, so I hired a lovely lady, Papa Scott, who was just a big heart and always wore all men's clothing and just opened the doors for all of our lesbian friends. But I have to tell you that they weren't lesbians that we know now. They were dykes. Mm-hmm. I mean, evil things. They took the bad parts of a man and made it their way to live. Evil, fighting. And so that's how I learned how to control crowds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Well, that was back in 1967, almost 50 years ago.
Yeah.
That you opened that bar. Mm-hmm. And so in last month, your documentary OPB came out, and I watched that. Were you happy with the final?
Well, first of all, I love the team from OPB. Cammie was the director and the photographer and the sound man, and they were just like they become part of what we do. And they weren't obtrusive. They were always everywhere. Everything we did, they were there, but it wasn't. It wasn't annoying. It was their wonderful crew.
How long?
And then when they go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, how long did they film?
About a year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And the editing was fantastic. I had no idea because they had enough footage. They told me they could do a 13-week reality show. But they had to do it in 30 seconds. Let's see.
It was like
29
minutes.
30 minutes, 29 minutes.
Yeah.
A year of filming compacted into it.
And then they put the history. What I loved about the fact that it wasn't just Darcelle. It was the history of our community, of the situations we lived in then and now, and I loved it.
Well, that was the part that really stuck out for me too, as watching it, was the history of Walter Cole. That stood out to me. Growing up as an only child in the town of Linton, a mill city, and what that was like. You lost your mother at the age of 9. I can't even imagine as a child losing their mother, but just how you have evolved and the person that you are today since that time. I mean, you've seen so much. I mean, within Portland, and yourself, the LGBTQ community, there's just so much.
Life in general.
Oh my gosh, it was just amazing to me.
Well, have you ever read my book?
I have not.
It's on Kindle, and we have an Powell bookstore. Anyway, it's Just Call Me Darcelle. It's my life. I did a one-man show. I wrote a one-man show, and from the one-man show, then I enlarged it to a book. And it's open. When you write a document of yourself, you better tell all of it.
Everything.
You don't pick and choose.
So I didn't pick and choose.
Yeah.
I told from the beginning to now. And I had my aunt, when my mother died, was my guardian angel. She took care of me.
We tell people today, in today's society, where it seems there's more dialogue, more forgiveness, more acceptance. But growing up when you did, that wasn't present.
I was a sissy. It was called that. The word gay wasn't invented then, but I was a sissy and made fun of.
Did you know then, when they were making fun of you and did you know that you were gay?
I didn't know. All I knew is I liked to play jacks.
Something so benign.
And hopscotch.
When did you come out?
Well, they never ever chose me to play ball. I don't know why.
I don't know why. I forgot what I just
asked. When did I come out?
Oh yeah, how old were you when you came out?
Well, I was molested by my father, but didn't realize that it was horrible or molested. I craved attention, and he was giving me attention.
When he's your father.
Yeah, he's my father.
How old were you when that happened?
About 12 or 13, right in there. And so I didn't realize it until first of all, I'm married and have two children, and now I have 2 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. And, and I wouldn't change any of that part of my life for anything. But there was a time when I had to say, I have to stop. I have to stop cheating. I have to stop lying to her, the woman I loved. I had to stop lying. And I had to make the statement that I had to tell it like it is. And there wouldn't be a Darcelle if I hadn't, because I was working at Fred Meyer at the time, and probably would be either dead or sitting on the couch watching television to this very day, or wouldn't even have lived this long.
What kept you going? What was that inspiration? Because you could have gone a different path.
Yeah.
You chose this one. What was it that internal?
First of all, the depression. My father worked for $1 a day. We were lucky at the end of payday if you'd had a quarter to buy an ice cream cone. And I wanted something more than just working for someone else. And I worked for Fred Meyer. I went to the military, came back from the military, worked for Fred Meyer, and decided I was going to start on my own. I had Portland's first coffee house, which you guys would have just adored. It was wonderful.
What was it called?
Cafe Espresso. And I had an espresso machine from the only one north of San Francisco. It was a boiler. I mean, it's so illegal now. It wouldn't open flame, and you had to watch the thing to make sure that it didn't blow up.
Oh, wow.
But it worked. And we had entertainment. We had jug bands, and we had jazz, and just, it was really, coffee was 50 cents when, at my place, with no refills, and 5 cents at the corner drugstore. This was way back in the 50s.
You had the good coffee.
I had the good coffee. So I just stuck with it, and then I had an ice cream parlor, an after-hours jazz club with no booze. Then I bought Dima's Tavern. And that part of it now is history. I'm going to digress a little bit. You mentioned being in the military. What was that like for you? I love the military.
Really?
What branch were you in?
Well, let's see. I was married, and we got married in May, and by September, I was drafted. By September, I was in basic training.
Whoa!
Were you in the Army?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I went. That was during Korea.
Did you stay stateside, or did you get deployed?
We went overseas.
Oh.
But I went overseas to Europe rather than Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And got sick on the way from the water or something, and I missed the going to Frankfurt, Germany, where they played soldier all the time, and they needed somebody in Livorno, Italy. Ooh. To protect the Italian Riviera.
Oh, so darn.
It was terrible.
Rough life.
So it was really wonderful because I worked 8 to 5, and I was in headquarters on records, working everybody's records. So then we'd have weekends off, and we didn't ever once pick up a gun and march or anything. It was fun.
Ooh, I couldn't even imagine how fun those weekends were.
Well, because besides we all worked together, and you write orders every time you get a time off, and we didn't write each other's orders. We just went. So
naughties.
Or if we did write them, we had to have some public that we were legally out, but we didn't turn them in, and so that was kind of nice. Anyway, Rome was not that far away. Florence was only a half an hour, and so it was pretty exciting. Oh. It's not because I was too dumb and young to really take in but it sends men back 3 or 4 times in all that whole area, so.
Well, and it's also been said that the entire community has always accepted you, and it's always been that way. Has it always been that way?
Gay community?
Mm-hmm. And Portland, gay and straight.
Yeah. Well, no, because there for a while, I was not. I was closeted in the gay community, and isn't that nice? And I amaze myself sometimes looking with these, and so and then the Willamette Week wrote an article. Susan Stanley wrote an article about the best kept secret, and it was less. And the doors opened, and the public came in, and that was just the beginning of the whole thing.
What year was that?
That was about 67, about 70, 70, because by 71 or 2 I ran for Empress.
Yep, that's for Darcelle 15.
Yeah, that's the 15 for. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Talk a little bit too, Darcelle, about in the 80s when AIDS, you did a lot of campaigning, a lot of support. That was,
Yeah. It was a dreadful, terrible, ugly time. And our government did nothing.
I mean, there was no facilities, no support.
It was a queer disease and did nothing. Every week, we'd have friends from San Francisco and here in Portland that died from AIDS, from HIV and AIDS. Then I did memorials, and I did about, I don't know, 10 of them, or I don't know, a number.
Too many.
And I had to stop. It was tearing me apart.
And when did we see a change in Portland in the view or how AIDS was perceived? When did the support start happening, or has it happened?
Well, they do have facilities now which we worked on then to, like we have a hospice house called Our House. Mm-hmm. We did pantry for food for them.
Esther's Pantry.
Esther's Pantry. We did raise money so they'd have rent even money. So, some of them they lost their jobs and
they can't work,
nowhere to go, and counseling and the whole thing. It was a big thing, and a big bundle of money was raised. And then Measure 9 came along, and Measure 9 was going to get rid of all of us, and we raised over $1 million to fight it, and we did fight it. It didn't pass, but that money could have been raised for our friends who were sick. That's just pissed me off.
Yeah. Well, and it's amazing how that has changed. I mean, when you look at the generations as time goes by, realizing the generations of today and of tomorrow, realizing the fight and the work that's been done, that they'll never experience.
No, they'll never know. And they can hear it a million times, but unless you live through it, it's really not real. So in fact, sometimes I looking back, it's like, did it really happen that I lost all my friends? And I sat next to one of our show people, and I said, "Honey, you are losing weight. Have you been tested?" No. So I said, "We're going Monday, and I'll go with you." And we went together, and yes, it was, and she didn't even last 2 years once they. Wow. But those were before the pills, and but if they'd have jumped on it right away, it's like the viruses that come up every now and then. Do we hear about them after about a month? No,
nope.
Because they take care of it. Mm-hmm. This was a queer thing that didn't need to take care of.
Let's lighten our little dialogue, shall we?
Shall we?
I'm like, man.
Can we tap dance a little?
We can spin you around in the chair.
Hey, this is the Caravan of GLAM presents more with Darcelle 15 when we return. So it's time for your Flashback Friday. Justin, who are we going to be drilling today?
Drilling?
Pick me. Oh, I love being drilled. Yes.
Well, Vivica's begging for it, so
Let's start
we'll go
with
with
Vivica.
Yes, please drill me.
Oh my God.
Favorite song?
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is horrible. Proud.
By who?
Queer Folk.
Favorite city?
Portland.
Favorite person, dead or alive?
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say Eartha Kitt, but I would say oh my gosh, I can't think of her name now. Rosa Parks.
Biggest fear?
Being alone.
Least favorite historical figure?
Least favorite historical figure? Donald Trump.
Least favorite food?
Ooh, cooked onion. Nasty.
Really?
Yes, it's so gross.
You don't like grilled onion?
Okay, I love the flavor and I love the smell.
Quickly, hurry.
But
the sight and fire.
The sight and texture is disgusting. It's like putting a worm in your mouth. Gross. Get it out of my face. Raw onion is delicious, though.
Favorite actor?
Oh my gosh, too many, but Jim Carrey.
If you could visit anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Hawaii.
Favorite sushi?
Any that is cooked.
If you could have dinner with one dead celebrity, who would it be?
Dead celebrity? Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go with Michael Jackson.
Favorite superpower, if you could have one?
Ooh. All the powers that embody Storm from X-Men.
Favorite Disney princess?
Pocahontas.
Oh, there we go. Pocahontas.
So yeah, you were drilled because you were sweating and you were fussy.
Yeah.
So that was your Flashback Friday.
It really is. On the spot.
With Vivica Valentine.
It really is. Like, I don't have a favorite of like anything.
Please.
They're all categorized. But if I did have to choose like a favorite Disney princess, it would be Pocahontas. She was very untraditional. Like,
Wait, was she a princess in the movie?
yes, she was.
That incredibly historically inaccurate movie, yes.
Right. Exactly. Well, the question
She's
was
gotta be the
favorite
downer, I'm
Disney
sorry.
princess. I mean, realistically, she was raped when she was 16, and she was stolen away from her family and kin.
Okay, that was your flashback Friday.
But that wasn't in the movie.
Caravan of Glam will be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Justin with Wild Planet Radio and the Caravan of Glam presents. Don't forget to connect with us. Facebook, Wild Planet Radio, Twitter, @Wild Planet Radio, Instagram, Wild Planet Radio, and of course, # Wild Planet Radio. Tell your friends, share the news of WPR on social media, and stream us 24/7 at wildplanetradio.com.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is the Caravan of Glam Presents. We've been chatting with the Portland icon herself, Darcelle 15.
Has Darcelle always been a blonde?
Oh, on stage, yeah. Well, no, I tried dark hair one time, and nothing wrong with dark hair, but it didn't work. And I would say, look, no one can find you in the dark when you have dark hair.
That's a true story. Just imagine when you have dark skin.
Yeah, you got a point.
And your costumes, who makes them?
I do.
Still to this day?
Yes.
And you've made some elaborate costumes.
Yes. Thousands.
And that you've equated making your costumes to like people that like to go fishing or go hiking. That's your
That's
your hobby.
Yeah, because that's my hobby. And in fact, I have so much wardrobe that I could never wear it all. You'd only wear one at a time. But if I go to a store, like a fabric store, and see a piece of fabric that catches my eye, I buy it and make it. And sometimes I wear it, sometimes I just hang it up.
Do you recycle your costumes?
Never.
Oh, I want to come to your house and go through your closet.
That means, you mean let somebody else have them or something?
Well,
I've taken trim off of some really that pardon me, don't fit anymore.
Do you ever loan them out? Do you ever let somebody borrow your costumes?
I'm very selfish. No. I did one time.
He's a Scorpio. They don't share.
No, they don't share. No, especially people. They don't share their other halves. No. I lent one time to a minister.
Oh.
Who nameless.
You need the tissues.
No, I could kill him. And I never saw the costume again.
So why don't we name him?
No.
Put him on blast.
He's like, this is how I've lasted so long in this city, is not talking trash.
Yeah. If I talk trash, I end it at that. That's a very special point.
So how does somebody become a part of Darcelle's show?
Well, I want to know who's on cast now. It's
Mitchell, which has been there for 36 years.
36 years. Liza Minnelli, Summer. Liza Minnelli's been there a long time. Poison Waters.
Summer, Poison. Alexis.
Alexis.
Maria.
No. She comes, and the newest one is Misbehaving.
She is so talented.
Yeah. She came to Catch a Rising Star on Tuesday nights. It's a $5 cover, $5 burger, and $5 cocktail. Stolies.
We should go.
So how do you find new talent, or do you look for new talent?
She was from Idaho, and she jumped on stage and did her number, and I said, I'm hiring you, and don't get elegant on me. Do your number. Do what, I've hired you for this. Do this.
Do they sign a contract?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't. No. No, we're pretty loyal to one another. We're pretty loyal
to each other.
Yes. Absolutely.
And do you go scouting for new talent?
No.
With 6 shows a week, I mean, where's the time, too?
Well, no, I don't. But
we should be scouts.
But when we do, but I love going to shows, and when we've traveled, we've gone to shows in Europe and Germany and everywhere. But no, it seems like something happens if somebody has to stop or move on to another somewhere. The void is filled. It just happens.
And how do you squash?
They have to be talented first. We don't train. Mm. They have to have some talent first.
The it factor.
The it factor. They have to come ready.
Darcelle factor.
You can't you can't train anybody that isn't right on it.
Yeah.
And how do you squash any disagreements? Does everybody get along okay?
Well, remember that we are all is it triple egos? And so, but
Does Darcelle have the last word?
we work together. I'm not Darcelle and they're over here. I work just as hard as they work. So it's not, it's like, well, I mean, it's like we'll handle it somehow, but usually it handles itself.
Kind of a group effort.
That's nice to hear.
Because, I might be an institution, but there I'm just Darcelle, get on stage. It's your turn. And take up the time because we're changing clothes. That's what I feel like somebody. That's what I feel like somebody. Well, okay, I'm here so they can get their clothes changed to go on the next one.
How have the audiences changed over the years?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's been a wonderful thing. Thank you, whoever you thank up there, whatever her name is.
Whatever her name is.
Well, the audiences were first for our lesbian friends, and then it opened up in people, and I notice more now couples.
A lot of straight folks.
Well, yeah, that's not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing. But coming from Tillamook, everybody knew your show, knew what it was about, and they were, most of them are small town rednecks and are very anti a lot of things.
There's no such thing as a redneck as far. I've never found a real redneck anyway. We've worked in the smallest little towns in the state of Oregon, and they come in scuffing their feet, And one night we did a show in outside of Bend, and they were putting up the set or the lighting, and so they're right out of the desert, or whatever, and they're sitting there. Well, the one with the nails on was the head queer. And I heard him, and I was laughing so hard I couldn't be angry. I mean, this guy, had never seen anything like it.
Well, and he wasn't wrong.
And he wasn't wrong. It's absolutely correct. And looking like this with my nails, putting things up. Well, that night he came to the show, and he said, afterwards, he said, "Damn," he said, "that's a damn good show." I didn't mean it. I said, "You don't have to apologize for what you said this afternoon, because what you said was the funniest thing I've heard in a long time."
Well, it's not like you haven't been around for years and heard it all.
Yeah.
In your time as Darcelle, do you have any regrets, anything that you would change?
That's a hard question. No, I don't think I've of course, when you write your life and you act your life in a play, I was doing a one-man play. Do I regret anything that happened in my life? No. Everything that happened in my life built me to this point. And I'm just as proud of when I was in the Army, or when I worked for Fred Meyer. I did a good job, that kind of thing. I managed place. And no, I don't regret anything. And then of the life before Darcelle, no, don't regret, because I have a beautiful family, and my granddaughter was married Saturday.
Aww.
Congratulations.
Were you a mess?
I was. No, I cry at commercials.
Me too. Baby.
So, when she came down, it was a venue outside of Sandy, a beautiful, beautiful park-like setting. When she came down there, it was all over. But anyway, and as Darcelle, I don't know. Should I have done it earlier? I didn't start doing it until I was 37 when I started doing it first time.
And when you look back on your career,
that's what I'm trying to think of. I don't think go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, your book and the documentary. When you see Walter Cole and you see Darcelle, what is your thought from the outside?
They were this far apart to begin with, and they're right there now. Sorry.
That was a perfect sound for that.
Well, and all that you've done, do you ever just say, dang, I've done a lot?
I look around at the club, for instance, and remember what it was when when in 1967, and know that I built the stage and I made the drapes and I put the lights up, the first lights and all that kind of stuff. And now, no, I'm proud of that, but I don't have to remind myself all the time of where we are. I'm where I am because I worked hard, and anybody can do what they would want to do if they just stick with it.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I think that I can fit into almost any situation and any people, that I get along with zillionaires and I get along with our street people in Old Town and appreciate where they are and what we've all done. I don't know what else. You'll be thinking about me a little bit.
But at this point in your life, are you happy? Are you satisfied with where you are?
Yeah. No, wait. As soon as you get satisfied, then you don't work anymore.
Are you happy?
I'm much happy. That's what I sign every time I sign my autograph. I put the date and happiness and my name, and it's got to be that way in your life. If you're unhappy with your friends, your family, your partner, your job, move on. Mm-hmm. Because if you spend your life being unhappy, the people around you are going to be unhappy.
When you miss so much,
you miss it. I've never had to get rid of anybody, but happiness is what happens. Now ask, how can you do this all this from audience? Well, because of you. Your smiles, your applause, it's like a medicine.
Is there anything that you haven't done that you still want to do?
I'm satisfied with where I am on this earth right now. Very satisfied.
Well, Darcelle, we love having you in. I mean, we would just
thank you.
We just keep you here and bottle you. We would do that. So, Darcelle, where can we go to find more information? Just go to the website.
I have 4 Facebooks. So one is Walter Cole, one is La Femme Magnifique, and one is Show Bar. 3.
Do you manage all of those yourself?
No.
Okay.
I barely read them.
And there's 6 shows a night, so it was
a week.
A week, not a night.
I'm like, good heavens.
Let's do that. Wednesday and Thursday night we have one show at 8 o'clock. On Friday and Saturday we have an 8 o'clock and a 10:30 show, and male strippers at midnight.
Oh, that's right. I always forget about the strippers.
Men of Darcelle, yeah. I don't do that.
I mean, we've seen your ass.
Yeah, and you will again.
Yeah. Oh, it makes me feel so young.
Well, again, Darcelle, we appreciate you coming in. It's been such an honor.
I thank you for asking.
Absolutely. We'll probably ask again.
Probably.
We will.
Okay. I'll say yes.
This is the Caravan of Glam Presents. I'm your host, Don Newton, along with
Justin Buckles.
And Danny Ward is with us too. Give us a note. Give us some sound.
Sing us out.
Come on.
Do 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 do.
We'll be right back.
All right, it's time for your weekend cocktail wrap-up. This week's cocktail is called Lemon Tom Collins. You take 1/2 ounces of gin, 1 juice of a lemon, 1 teaspoon of sugar, ice, and chilled soda water. You're going to combine the gin, the juice, and the sugar, stir well, and then add ice and top it off with the soda water, and that's your cocktail for the weekend. And now for those of you that don't drink, we also got our weekly mocktail. This week's mocktail is the Asian Pear Sparkler. You're going to need 1 cup of freshly pressed Asian pear juice, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 3/4 of a cup of honey, 1/4 of a cup of sugar, and also 1 sprig of fresh rosemary and 1 piece of fresh ginger. You're going to combine the pear juice, the lemon juice, the honey, the sugar, the rosemary, ginger, and a little bit of nutmeg into a saucepan over medium heat. Bring it to a boil, then simmer it on low heat for 5 minutes, stirring until all of the sugar dissolves. You're going to remove it from the heat, let it stand for 30 minutes, strain the syrup through a fine mesh strainer, and discard all the solids. To serve, you're going to fill an 8-ounce glass halfway with ice cubes, add 3 tablespoons of simple syrup, fill with soda water, and stir. There's your weekend drink. Have a cocktail on us, but you buying it.
That does it for us today on the Caravan of Glam Presents. We are done.
We're done entertaining you.
The show. It's kind of sad.
I don't want to go home yet.
No. Danny will be back. We're going to bring her back. We adopted her. She knows that.
Radio sister.
She is. So you got me, Dawn Newton.
J-Boo.
And Danny Ward.
Danny Ward, our special co-host.
With an IE.
That's
Oh, yeah. IE.
All right. Have a good evening, everyone. And we will talk again
soon.
Yes, we will.
Peace out.
Be kind.
Rewind.
Make smart choices.
Strap it on.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wrap it up.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh, no.
All right. We're out.